So if you think AI today is just, asking a chatbot a question, well, get ready, because things are about to change in a big way. We're moving past AI being just a tool we use. We're stepping into the age of AI agents. And these aren't just chatbots. Think of them as a brand new, autonomous digital workforce. They don't just answer you, they actually get things done for you. All right, so to really wrap our heads around this, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start by looking at how AI is evolving from these passive oracles into active doers. Then we're going to pop the hood and see what makes these digital employees tick and check out their thought process. From there, we'll explore how they can actually climb a career ladder, which is pretty cool. And finally, we'll get into the really tricky part. How do you manage a whole workforce of these things?
For the longest time, AI has been incredibly powerful, but kind of passive, right? It could spit out an answer or create a cool image, but you always had to be there, holding his hand, telling it what to do next. Well, we are right at this huge turning point. We're shifting from an AI that just predicts stuff to one that actually acts on it.
And this quote right here, it really nails it. An agent isn't just a language model sitting in a box. It's a full-blown application. It takes that incredible reasoning power of a model and gives it hands, the power to actually do things in the real world, to hit a specific goal.
Okay, so this is the core idea, the big shift from what we're calling an oracle to a doer. Think about it. The Oracle AI, that's what we're used to. It's passive. It just sits there, waiting for you to ask it something. But an AI agent, totally different. It's active. You don't give it a bunch of little commands. You give it a high-level goal, and it goes off and figures out all the steps to get there by itself. So what's actually going on inside one of these things? What makes an agent tick? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like this. It's a digital employee. And just like any employee, it has different parts that let it think and act. All right, first up, every agent has a brain. This is the model. We're talking about the core language model here, your GPTs, your Geminis. This is the part that does all the heavy lifting, the reasoning, the processing, the decision-making. It's basically the cognitive engine for the whole operation. But, a brain is useless if it can't interact with the world, right? And that's where tools come in. These are the agent's hands. These are things like APIs, databases, basically any function that lets the agent's thoughts turn into real-world actions. So you've got the brain, you've got the hands. What connects them? That's the orchestration layer. We can think of this as the nervous system. This is really the governing logic that runs the whole show. It's in charge of the agent's memory, it comes up with the plan, and it makes the critical call. Should I think more about this, or is it time to use one of my tools? Okay, so we've seen the parts, the brain, the hands, the nervous system. Now let's see how this digital employee actually puts it all together to get a job done. How does it actually go from being given a mission to finishing the task? It really all comes down to this continuous loop, a cycle it goes through over and over. So first, it gets its mission from you, the user. Then it scans the scene, it pulls in context from its memory, sees what tools it has. Next, it stops and thinks, creating a step-by-step plan. Then it takes action, using a tool. And, this is key, it observes the result of that action and then starts the loop all over again, iterating until the mission is complete. It's this constant think, act, observe loop. That's the magic right there. Okay, let's make this a little more real. Here's a super simple customer support example. A customer just asks a very normal question. Hey, where is my order number 12345? Now, pay close attention to what the agent does before it even says anything. It doesn't just guess or make something up. It goes into that think it through phase and creates a little plan. Step 1, I need to find this order in our internal database. Step 2, okay, now I'll use that info to check the external shipping company's API to get the live status. Step 3, now we'll put all of that together into a clear, helpful response for the customer. See? That's not just answering a question, that's actual problem solving. But here's the thing, not all agents are created equal. Just like people in a company, they can grow in their complexity and what they're capable of doing. It's really useful to think of it like a career ladder. They can start as a simple trainee and work their way all the way up to a sophisticated team leader. So this timeline here really lays out how agents get more and more sophisticated. At level 0, you've got the trainee. This is basically just the core brain with no connection to the real world. Then at level 1, you have the intern. Now it's connected, and it can use some basic tools to look up information. Level 2 is the specialist. This is the agent we just saw in our example. It can create those multi-step plans. Now it gets really interesting at level 3. This is the team leader.
This agent can actually delegate tasks to other agents. And then at the top, you've got level 4, the innovator. This thing is so advanced, it can create brand new tools or even build new agents all on its own. Pretty wild. Okay, so building one of these agents is one thing, but what happens when your company doesn't have one, but hundreds or maybe even thousands of these digital employees running around doing things? Yeah, that's when you have to stop thinking like a builder and start thinking like a manager. Going from a single agent to a whole fleet, that's a huge architectural challenge. All of a sudden, you're dealing with massive new problems in security, in governance, and just day-to-day operations. The big thing you have to avoid is what's called agent sprawl, which is just this chaotic, unmanaged mess of digital employees popping up all over the organization. So, to get a handle on this, a whole new set of disciplines is starting to top up. You've got agent ops. Think of it like DevOps, but for these highly unpredictable agent systems. Security becomes absolutely critical. You have to give agents their own unique identities and clear rules. And then there's governance, which is all about having a central control plane to make sure everything is running smoothly and safely. Now, this is really important because it points to a fundamental shift in how we think about security. I mean, we're all used to dealing with human users and service accounts, right? But agents, they're a whole new class of entity. They need their own verifiable identity, using stuff like SPIFFE, because they're operating with what's called delegated authority. They are taking actions on behalf of a user. That is such a critical distinction to make when it comes to security and, accountability. So when it comes right down to it, the architectural answer for managing a whole fleet of agents is a central gateway. The best way to picture it is like an air traffic control tower for all of your agents. Every single request, every time an agent wants to use a tool, every time two agents talk to each other, it all has to pass through this central control plane. And that's where you can enforce all your security and governance rules consistently. And all of this, really, it brings us to the big question that kind of hangs over this whole evolution as we're designing these systems. Systems that have brains and hands and the ability to plan and act and even work together. We've got to ask ourselves a pretty deep question. Are we just writing a more sophisticated kind of code? Or are we actually building the very first generation of true digital coworkers? The answer to that question is going to shape how all of us work for decades to come.